The moment trust in money breaks, gold takes control. And right now, that trust is cracking faster than most people realize. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Every currency you use today only works as long as people keep believing in it. Gold doesn't need belief. And that's why it always comes back when things start to fall apart. But why gold? And why now? We're about to walk through 11 key insights, and by the last one, you'll see gold very differently than you do right now. Key insight number 1. Gold is scarcer than you think. Take all the gold ever mined in human history. Melt it down. Stack it into one cube. It fits inside a single city block. That's it. That's the entire global supply. Half of it sits in jewelry. Some of it runs through electronics and medical devices. And the rest? Locked away in vaults. New York, London, Zurich. Silent, guarded, untouched. But scarcity isn't the real reason gold matters. The real reason is far more uncomfortable. Key insight number 2. Gold doesn't need permission. Gold doesn't rust. It doesn't decay. It doesn't depend on politicians, CEOs, or central banks. Once gold exists, it exists forever. And history proved something brutal. Money doesn't become valuable because it's useful. It becomes valuable because people agree to trust it. Early humans traded food and livestock. Useful, but flawed. You can't store it, you can't move it easily, you can't standardize it. So, humanity searched for something else. Rare, durable, impossible to fake, recognizable everywhere. Gold checked every box. And as the world grew more chaotic, one pattern kept repeating. The more unstable society became, the more valuable gold became. That pattern never broke. Until governments tried to replace it. Key insight number 3. The 5,000-year pattern nobody talks about. This isn't a theory, it's history. For over 5,000 years, civilizations across the world made the same decision, independently without coordination. Ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, China, Rome, the Islamic caliphates, medieval Europe. Different cultures, different religions, different systems of power. Yet, they all converged on gold. Not because it was shiny, but because it survived power. Every time rulers debased money to fund wars or growing debt, gold quietly exposed the lie. Roman emperors diluted silver coins, inflation followed, trust collapsed. Chinese dynasties overprinted paper money. Hyperinflation, return to metal. European kingdoms clipped coins. Trade broke down, gold regained dominance. The pattern never changed. When money was controlled too aggressively, people fled to what couldn't be controlled. And here's the part almost nobody mentions. Gold was never abandoned because it failed. It was abandoned because it worked too well. It enforced discipline. It limited spending. It exposed excess. And power hates limits. Which leads to the most important monetary shift in modern history. The moment governments decided gold was standing in their way. Key insight number 4. The moment money lost its anchor. There used to be a rule. You can exchange this paper for gold. Cash wasn't money. It was a receipt. But discipline became inconvenient. Wars got expensive, debt exploded, and gold became a problem. So, the anchor was cut. Slowly at first, then all at once. In 1971, the last link between global currencies and gold snapped. From that moment on, money stopped being a store of value and became a policy tool. Every dollar, every euro, every yen runs on one fragile idea. People believe it's worth something, and belief only works until it doesn't. Key insight number 5. Why gold surges when trust collapses. Look at the pattern. 1970s inflation, gold explodes. 2008 financial crisis, gold rallies. 2020 pandemic, gold surges. 2023-2024 inflation and war, gold hits records. Every time currencies wobble, gold strengthens. Every time governments overspend, gold rises. Every time central banks panic, gold responds. Gold doesn't react to hype, it reacts to instability. And the biggest players know this, which brings us to what governments are doing right now. Key insight number 6. What central banks won't say out loud. While social media debates gold, governments are quietly buying it. China, Russia, India, even Western nations. Not returning to a full gold standard, but using gold as collateral for trust. Why? Because the world is splitting into blocks. West versus BRICS. Dollar trade versus alternatives. Gold becomes the neutral asset. The one thing both sides can trust without trusting each other. And there are 3 reasons this matters. 1. Sanction-proof wealth. Gold can't be frozen. 2. Dollar insurance. Protection against US dominance. 3. Crisis buffering. Gold rises when currencies fall. Central bank gold buying has increased almost every year for a decade. So here's the real question. If governments are preparing, why are regular people suddenly doing the same? Key insight number 7. The personal gold shift. People aren't chasing massive returns. They're chasing certainty. Something that doesn't collapse because one official panicked at 2 a.m. Older generations already learned this lesson. They lived through inflation, currency devaluations, banking collapses. Younger generations are learning it right now. Gold becomes relevant when the system feels fragile. And right now, the system feels fragile. But there's a deeper reason gold makes people uncomfortable. Key insight number 8. Gold versus control. Modern money requires control. Gold doesn't. That's the real conflict. Fiat money only works if people stay inside the system. Gold works without one. Gold is the pressure gauge. When confidence rises, gold cools. When confidence cracks, gold climbs. But something strange happened recently. Gold kept rising. Even when markets recovered, even when rates went up, even when fear faded. That shouldn't happen, unless something fundamental is shifting. And it comes down to 3 pressures squeezing the system. Key insight number 9. The 3 cracks pushing people toward gold. 1. Currency decay. Even low inflation eats away at purchasing power over time. Gold doesn't grow, but it doesn't shrink either. 2. Debt that can't be repaid. Deficits are exploding. Someone always pays, through inflation, taxes, or a weaker currency. Gold is the exit from that math. 3. A world of constant shocks. Pandemics, wars, supply chain failures. Nothing is local anymore, which makes gold's role as global insurance stronger than ever. And that leads to the biggest misunderstanding about gold. Key insight number 10. Gold isn't about getting rich. Stocks grow. Real estate grows. Businesses grow. Gold preserves. It doesn't try to beat markets. It tries to beat disaster. For 50 years, gold has done exactly that. It protected purchasing power, offset inflation, stabilized chaos. You don't judge insurance by profit. You judge it by what it saves when things break. And that brings us to the future. Key insight number 11. The decade where trust decides everything. No one can predict the exact timing, but pressure points tell a clear story. We're entering a decade where trust decides who wins. Gold has always thrived in that environment. The only real question left is, how close are we to the next test of that trust? If this breakdown helped you see the bigger picture, like the video and subscribe for more deep dives like this. The sources and data are provided in the description so you can verify them yourself. Thanks for watching.